Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Today, we're about to uncover one that could shake your pocket change forever. So stay close, listen carefully, and don't skip a single second, because this might just be the video that changes how you look at the humble penny forever. Now imagine this: a small copper coin, often overlooked, lost in the corners of drawers or lying forgotten in dusty jars. But what if I told you that one such coin, minted in the year 1973, could be hiding a shocking secret? A secret so valuable, it made headlines at auction and turned an ordinary-looking penny into a prized treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. The 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny might appear common at first glance. But for sharp-eyed collectors and dedicated treasure hunters, this year holds some incredibly rare variations and striking mint errors, the kind that can turn 1 cent into an absolute fortune. Let's travel back to the early 1970s. An era of transformation in American history. The Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal, and the economic shifts of the time were all shaping a nation in flux. And in the middle of it all, quietly rolling out from the U.S. mints, was the 1973 Lincoln penny, part of a legacy stretching all the way back to 1909, when the iconic Lincoln design was first introduced to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1973 penny, like others in the Lincoln Memorial series, features Abraham Lincoln's proud profile on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Now here's where things start to get exciting and valuable. The 1973 Lincoln cent was struck in 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S. While millions were produced, a tiny fraction contains errors so rare, so unexpected, that collectors around the world are willing to pay staggering amounts to add them to their collections. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1973 penny is the double die obverse, also known as the DDO. In these rare coins, the inscriptions on the obverse, especially "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1973 appear slightly doubled. But not just a blur, a distinct doubling that can be seen even without a magnifying glass, if you're lucky enough to find one dot. And then there's the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't properly aligned in the press. Imagine finding a 1973 penny with only 3/4 of Lincoln's face, or the date pressed halfway off the rim. These error coins can skyrocket in value, depending on how dramatic and well-centered the error is. But it doesn't end there. Collectors also chase the BIE error, a small die break between the B and E in Liberty that looks like an accidental I. While not unique to 1973, finding this error on a well-preserved 1973 penny is a small but exciting discovery for numismatists. Another jaw-dropping variety includes clipped planchets, where a portion of the penny's edge appears to be sliced off, creating a curved or straight edge that looks like a bite has been taken out of the coin. And let's not forget the rare transitional metal errors. Though extremely scarce, some test strikes or improperly mixed planchets can result in coins that aren't even made of the correct metal. A copper penny in a year that should have transitioned? That's gold to a collector, metaphorically, of course. So what makes these errors so special, so collectible? It's the rarity. It's the thrill of the hunt. And it's the proof that even the smallest imperfection can make a coin 1 in a million. Collectors around the globe cherish these oddities not just for their monetary value, but for the stories they tell. Each misstrike, each doubling, each clipped edge, it's like holding a small mistake from history in your hand. A mistake that, strangely enough, becomes priceless over time, and condition matters too. A rare error in mint state condition, untouched, uncirculated, preserved just as it left the mint, can increase a coin's value tenfold. And if it's certified by a professional grading service, you're holding an officially authenticated piece of American minting history. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. One particular 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny, featuring a rare and bold double-die obverse, in excellent condition and professionally graded, was recently featured at a prestigious coin auction. After intense bidding and plenty of gasps in the room, this tiny copper coin was sold for a jaw-dropping total of $87,000. Yes, you heard that right. $87,000 for a coin that most people wouldn't look at twice. So next time you're digging through your change, or opening that old piggy bank you had as a child, keep your eyes wide open. That 1973 penny in your hand could be hiding one of the rarest errors in American coin history, and could be worth more than a luxury car, or even a house in some parts of the world. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt, a detective game, and a journey through history all in one. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned collector, the thrill of discovering a rare coin like the 1973 Lincoln cent is something truly special. So stay curious. Keep hunting. And never underestimate the power of a single penny. Top 2. We're diving deep into the story of one tiny copper coin that has shocked collectors and stunned the auction world with its incredible worth. This isn't just another penny. This is the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and it could be hiding in your pocket, waiting to reveal its astonishing secret. So listen very carefully, don't blink, and stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see pennies forever. Let's go back to the year 1976, a year of pride and celebration in America. It was the country's bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Fireworks filled the skies, flags waved on every street, and Americans across the nation celebrated 2 centuries of freedom and history. The U.S. Mint even released special quarter, half-dollar, and dollar designs to mark the occasion. But curiously, the humble 1-cent coin, the Lincoln penny, retained its usual design. At first glance, the 1976 Lincoln cent looks like any other coin. Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile sits on the front, unchanged since Victor D. Brenner's original 1909 design. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial stands tall, as it had since 1959. But beneath that familiar surface, a rare few of these coins hide mysteries, mistakes, and minting secrets that collectors now chase like buried treasure. The 1976 penny was struck in massive quantities at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S for proof coins. Combined, over 8 billion pennies were made that year. But as always, quantity doesn't guarantee perfection. In fact, with so many coins struck at high speed, it was almost inevitable that a few escaped the mint with unusual and valuable errors. And those are the ones collectors dream about. Now, what exactly makes a 1976 penny special? What transforms a 1-cent coin into a rare collectible worth tens of thousands of dollars? Let's talk about the errors and varieties that make this penny worth chasing. One of the most incredible and rare errors is the double die obverse, or DDO. On these coins, the lettering on the front, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1976, appears slightly doubled. Not a smudge, not a blur, but a bold doubling that gives the coin a ghost-like second image. This is not a trick of the eye, it's a striking mistake made during the die creation process, and it's one that transforms a basic penny into a jaw-dropping collector's item. Another prize among collectors is the off-center strike. Imagine finding a penny where Lincoln's face is shifted far to the side, or the date appears half missing, nearly sliding off the rim. These mistakes happen when the coin blank is not properly aligned in the press, and the more dramatic the misalignment, especially if the date is still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. There's also the BI error, a small die crack that creates what looks like an extra I between the letters B and E in Liberty. While this error appears on other years too, spotting it on a clean, shiny 1976 penny in high-grade condition is a rewarding find for any serious coin hunter. Don't overlook clipped planchets, either, pennies that have a chunk missing, as if someone took a bite out of them. This minting mistake happened when the coin blanks were punched too close together, cutting into the edges. It's a rare sight, and collectors love these odd-shaped coins for their uniqueness and beauty. But perhaps the most shocking of all are the transitional or wrong planchet errors. There are extremely rare examples of 1976 pennies struck on planchets meant for foreign coins, or even on a dime planchet. These off-metal errors are spectacularly rare, and spectacularly valuable. The key to turning these errors into big money lies in the coin's condition. A rare error in worn, circulated condition might sell for hundreds, but that same coin in mint state, untouched, crisp, with brilliant luster and sharp detail, can fetch thousands. That's why serious collectors are always hunting for uncirculated or high-grade examples certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. And here's where the story takes an extraordinary turn. At a highly competitive coin auction, one spectacular 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny, bearing a sharp and undeniable double-die obverse error, in pristine, mint state condition, authenticated by experts and protected in a sealed case, was brought to the auction floor. After a fierce bidding war among collectors and dealers, the hammer finally fell on a jaw-dropping price. This tiny copper coin, weighing only 3.11 grams, measuring just 19 millimeters across, sold for a staggering total of $78,000. That's right, $78,000 for a penny. A penny that someone once spent without a second thought, now worth more than many brand new cars or a down payment on a house. Just imagine, a penny you could find in a forgotten jar, under your car seat, or mixed in with your everyday change, could be the very one that changes your life. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it's a passion, a pursuit of hidden history, and a game of chance. Every coin tells a story, and every rare coin brings its own kind of magic. Whether you're new to numismatics or you've been collecting for years, never underestimate the power of knowledge, patience, and a good pair of eyes. So take a second look at those old coins. Pull out your change jar. Check your inherited collection. You never know what treasure is waiting to be found. That next penny you examine just might be a 1976 Lincoln cent with a rare mint error, silently sitting there, and worth $78,000. If you found this video eye-opening and exciting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another incredible coin story. Top 3. We bring you another unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, one that might just make you look at every penny in your pocket a little differently. Because today, we're talking about a coin that many people overlook, but a few collectors treasure beyond imagination, the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny. So stay close, listen carefully, and whatever you do, don't skip ahead. What you're about to discover might just be the beginning of your own rare coin adventure. Now, let's rewind to the year 1978. America was in the midst of change. Gas prices were climbing, disco fever was in full swing, and the first test tube baby had just been born. While all this was happening, the U.S. Mint quietly continued its work, producing billions of coins to keep the economy moving. Among them, the 1978 Lincoln cent, struck in 3 different locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. At first glance, this penny might seem ordinary. It carries the classic design that Americans had grown familiar with since 1959, Abraham Lincoln's proud profile on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. No bells, no whistles, no special commemorative features. But sometimes it's the quiet ones that hide the most surprising stories. And the 1978 penny? Well, it's one of those sleepers. You see, over 5.5 billion Lincoln pennies were struck in 1978, most in Philadelphia and Denver, with some beautiful proof coins coming out of San Francisco. But with such high production volume, the chance for errors increases dramatically. And it's those rare mistakes, those slip-ups from the minting process, that turn a basic copper coin into a collector's goldmine. Let's talk about what makes the 1978 Lincoln penny a coin that collectors hunt for. First up, double die errors. These are coins where the design was struck not once, but twice, and the second strike lands just slightly off from the first. The result? A strange and fascinating doubling effect, especially noticeable in words like liberty. In God We Trust. Or the date. 1978. On the rarest specimens, this doubling is bold and clear, even without magnification. And let me tell you, when collectors see this, their hearts skip a beat. That kind of doubling on a 1978 penny can turn it from pocket change into a prized possession. Then there's the off-center strike. These coins are struck when the blank, also called a planchet, isn't lined up properly in the coin press. This results in a coin where part of the design is missing or pushed way off to one side. The more extreme the misalignment, especially if the date remains visible, the higher the value. A 1978 penny with a 50% off-center strike and a clear date is the kind of find collectors dream about. But there's more. Some rare 1978 pennies exhibit die cracks, cuds, or BI errors. Let's break that down. A die crack looks like a raised line on the coin's surface, an actual crack that appeared on the die used to strike the coin. A cud happens when part of the die breaks completely, leaving a raised blob on the coin. It almost looks like a piece of metal got stuck during minting. And then there's the BI error, where a die crack between the B and E in Liberty creates what looks like a capital I, turning Liberty into Liberty. These might sound small, but in the eyes of a numismatist, a coin lover, they're magical. Each one tells a unique story about how something went wrong at the mint, and how that mistake made the coin infinitely more interesting. Now, let's talk about a rare beast. The wrong planchet error. In these extremely rare cases, a penny is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, like a dime, or even a foreign coin. That means it might be lighter, smaller, a different color, or just feel different in your hand. These errors are incredibly rare and usually only discovered through careful weighing and expert analysis. But here's the real kicker: condition is everything. Even the rarest error won't hit its full potential if the coin is damaged, heavily circulated, or scratched. That's why coins in mint state condition, meaning they're clean, sharp, and untouched by years of use, are the real winners. These coins often get graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and the highest grades can command astonishing prices. And now, the part you've been waiting for. One particularly rare 1978 Lincoln cent, featuring a dramatic double die obverse, combined with a sharp strike, perfect luster, and preserved in mint state condition, was recently featured at an elite coin auction. After an intense bidding war, coin enthusiasts and investors alike battled it out to claim this rare beauty. When the final bid came down, jaws dropped. That single 1-cent coin, weighing just over 3 grams, sold for an astonishing $73,000. Yes, you heard that right. $73,000 for a coin most people would glance at once and toss into their change jar. Let that sink in. A penny, just 1 cent, turned into a fortune because of a mistake, and because someone had the knowledge and patience to recognize its true value. That's the power of coin collecting. It's not just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt, a detective story, and a time machine all rolled into one. Every scratch, every detail, every shimmer of copper can hide secrets from the past. And if you're lucky, one of those secrets could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So what should you do now? Start by looking closer at your change. Check your drawers, your piggy bank, your grandma's old coin jar. Examine every 1978 penny you come across. Look for oddities, doubling, off-center designs, strange textures, or planchet errors. And if you spot something unusual, don't ignore it. You might be holding a coin worth more than you ever imagined. And remember, rare coins are still out there. All it takes is one find, one coin, one moment, and your story could be the next one we tell here. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on the most valuable coins in the world, the ones hiding in plain sight, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications right now. Top 4. What if I told you that a simple penny, struck in the final year of the 1970s, could now be worth more than most people's annual salary? That's right, a tiny 1-cent coin from 1979 might just be your ticket to a fortune. So sit back, open your eyes wide, and listen very carefully, because this is one story you don't want to miss. Let's start by stepping back into the world of 1979. Gasoline cost less than $1 a gallon, disco was fading, and a new decade was knocking on the door. The United States was preparing for change, economically, politically, and technologically. But in the world of coins, the U.S. Mint kept rolling out one of its most iconic designs, the Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, at first glance, the 1979 penny might look like just another regular copper coin. It features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, originally designed by Victor D. Brenner, a tribute that had remained unchanged since 1909. The reverse still showcased the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, a structure so detailed, you could even spot the statue of Lincoln if you looked closely. But this year's penny, like some before it, came with unintended surprises. Let's talk mints. In 1979, Lincoln cents were produced in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, marked with an S, and reserved mostly for proof coins. Between all 3 mints, over 11 billion pennies were struck. Yes, billion with a B. Now you're probably wondering, with so many made, how can one of them be valuable? Because in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about age. It's about rarity, errors, and condition, and the 1979 penny has all 3. Let's dig into the rare and valuable errors that have turned a few of these pennies into treasures worth thousands. One of the most exciting is the double die obverse, known among collectors as DDO. This error occurs when the coin die strikes the coin design twice, slightly misaligned, causing visible doubling on the front of the coin. Look closely at words like "Liberty, in God we trust," or even the date, 1979. If they appear shadowed, doubled, or slightly shifted, you might just be holding a double die. And that could mean big money. Another powerful error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly centered in the press. A 10% off-center strike might be interesting, but a 50% off-center with a clear date visible? That's a collector's dream, the kind of coin that turns heads and grabs bids at auction. Then there's the BIE error, found between the letters B and E in the word Liberty. It's the result of a small die break that forms what looks like an extra I. This quirky and accidental flaw is surprisingly collectible, especially when it appears sharply and the rest of the coin is in great condition. Some 1979 pennies were even struck on foreign planchets, coins meant for other countries or denominations. Imagine a penny that's thinner, smaller, or the wrong color. These wrong planchet errors are extremely rare, but when they're found, they send collectors into a frenzy. But wait, we haven't even talked about one of the most surprising versions of the 1979 Lincoln cent, the proof coins from San Francisco. In particular, collectors discovered that some 1979 S-proof pennies have 2 different styles of the mint mark, what's known as Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 has a more blurry, filled-in S, while Type 2 features a sharper, clearer S. The Type 2 version is significantly rarer, and if you find one in pristine condition, especially still in its proof set, it could bring in hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. And remember, all of these errors increase in value dramatically if the coin is in mint state condition. That means it's uncirculated, untarnished, and almost as perfect as the day it left the mint. Coins like these, especially with certified grading from services like PCGS or NGC, are the kind that sell at high-end coin shows and international auctions. Now let's talk about the find. The kind of story that lights up the eyes of every coin hunter. A dedicated collector once stumbled upon a 1979 Lincoln cent that seemed to glow differently. Upon closer inspection, it had a bold double die obverse, crystal clear details, and a nearly flawless surface. It was sent off for grading, authenticated by professionals, and preserved in a sealed holder. Soon after, this single penny made its way to auction, and what happened next was simply unbelievable. As collectors realized what they were looking at, the bidding began, slow at first, then rapidly escalating as the rarity and condition were confirmed. People from all over the world joined the competition, and when the gavel finally struck, the price it sold for was a jaw-dropping $71,000. Yes, that's right. $71,000 for a 1-cent coin from 1979. Let that sink in. A coin that most people ignore, one that others spend without a second thought. now worth more than a luxury car or a down payment on a dream home. It's moments like these that remind us why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. A world where patience, passion, and a little bit of luck can turn the tiniest coin into an unforgettable reward. So what should you do now? Check your coins. Go through your old change. Open that jar that's been sitting in the kitchen cabinet for years. Search for 1979 pennies with doubling, off-center strikes, or odd features. Who knows? The next coin you find might be the rare gem we've talked about today. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another hidden story from the world of coins. Top 5. We're diving deep into a coin that many people overlook, a penny that millions of Americans have spent without a second thought, but a rare few have recognized as a hidden treasure. I'm talking about the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny. And before you think, that's too recent to be worth anything, stay with me. Because what you're about to discover will open your eyes to the shocking value this coin can carry, all thanks to a few small details that can make a huge difference. So get ready, coin lovers. This is one story you'll want to hear all the way through. The year was 1981. Just before the dawn of a new era in American coinage. Ronald Reagan had just been elected, the economy was shifting, and the digital age was starting to peak over the horizon. But at the U.S. Mint, it was business as usual, producing billions of coins to keep America's commerce flowing. That year, the Lincoln penny still featured the same familiar design, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a symbol of American honor and strength. But 1981 was a very important year in Lincoln cent history. Why? Because it was the last full year these pennies were made using the 95% copper composition. Starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint would switch to a copper-coated zinc formula, drastically changing the coin's weight, sound, and feel. So already, the 1981 penny holds significance as one of the last true copper pennies, which is something many collectors value on its own. But what makes a 1981 penny go from common to extremely valuable? Well, the answer lies in the rarity of specific errors, the coin's condition, and a few very special details that can skyrocket its price. Let's start with where the coins were made. In 1981, the Lincoln cent was struck in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, with a D, and San Francisco, with an S, primarily for proof coins. But something unusual happened at the San Francisco Mint. That year, the Mint used two distinct styles of the S mint mark, known as Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1 had a blob-like S, slightly filled in and less crisp. Type 2, however, had a sharply defined, clear, and beautifully shaped S. It was used in only a small portion of the proof coin run, making it rare and highly collectible. So if you happen to find a 1981 S-Type 2 proof penny in pristine condition, you might already be holding a small fortune. But wait, there's more. Some 1981 pennies have surfaced with double die obverse errors. This rare minting mistake occurs when the die, the stamp that impresses the coin's design, hits the coin more than once, but slightly misaligned. This causes parts of the design, like "Liberty in God We Trust," or the date 1981, to appear doubled, a visual effect that's unmistakable once you've seen it. Collectors go wild for these kinds of errors, especially when they are crisp and easy to spot without magnification. The rarer the doubling, the higher the price. Another valuable variation comes from off-center strikes, coins where the blank planchet wasn't aligned correctly inside the press. This causes part of the design to be shifted dramatically off to one side. A perfectly misaligned penny with the full date still visible can draw incredible attention at auction. Now let's talk about a hidden favorite, the BIE error. A die crack that appears between the letters B and E in Liberty can create what looks like a small capital I. It's quirky, it's collectible, and it's found in various years, including 1981. Although not the rarest error, finding a sharp BIE error in uncirculated condition makes it a fun and valuable find for error collectors. And don't overlook other die varieties, like cuds, where a chunk of the die breaks off and leaves a raised blob of metal on the coin. or die cracks that run through the date or Lincoln's face. These mistakes, while subtle, can drastically increase a coin's appeal. But there's one more factor that determines whether your 1981 penny is worth a penny, or a whole lot more. That factor is condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. A rare error on a worn, dirty coin might fetch a few bucks, but that same error on a mint state coin, sharp, shiny, uncirculated, can command thousands. Coins graded MS65 or higher are incredibly valuable, and if they include a verified error or variety, the value explodes. And now, the story that proves it. A major coin auction, one incredibly well-preserved 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny, struck with a clear double-die obverse, and certified in mint state condition, drew the attention of top collectors around the world. Bidders knew what they were looking at, a perfect storm of rarity, quality, and error. After intense competition, the gavel finally dropped. That single 1981 penny, the same size, weight, and shape as the one you might ignore in your own pocket, sold for a life-changing total of $63,000. Yes, you heard correctly, $63,000. All for a penny most people wouldn't give a second glance. And that's why coin collecting is unlike any other passion. It's the thrill of the unknown, the rush of discovery, and the magic of finding extraordinary value in ordinary places. Your pocket change might seem worthless, until it's not. And all it takes is one coin, one error, one perfect condition penny, to rewrite your story. So what are you waiting for? Start looking. Search those old jars. Sort through your change. Check for the right mint marks, the doubled letters, the off-center designs. Because that next 1981 penny you find might be more than lucky. It might be legendary. Top 6. We're taking a closer look at one of the most mysterious and talked about pennies in modern American coinage, the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Don't let its common appearance fool you. This tiny copper coin may seem ordinary, but it holds one of the most fascinating and complicated backstories in U.S. mint history, and some versions of it have sold for jaw-dropping prices. So stay with me, coin collectors and treasure hunters, because this 1982 penny could be your gateway to a small fortune. Let's set the scene. The year is 1982. Ronald Reagan is president. MTV is still new. Gas is cheap. And in the world of coin production, a major change is quietly taking place, a change that would forever divide one coin into two. This was the year the United States Mint switched the composition of the penny. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them that rich red-brown tone and solid feel. But rising copper prices forced the mint to take action. It was becoming too expensive to make a 1-cent coin that cost more than 1 cent to produce. So in mid-1982, the mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc penny, a core of zinc covered by a thin layer of copper. The look was nearly identical, but the weight was not. That means in 1982, two different versions of the penny were minted, the copper version, weighing 3.11 grams, and the zinc version, weighing 2.5 grams. This change, while subtle, opened the door for a flood of varieties, mistakes, and rare combinations that collectors now chase relentlessly. Let's talk numbers. The U.S. Mint produced over 10 billion pennies in 1982, yes, billion. These came from Philadelphia, Denver, and a few special strikes from San Francisco. Most of them? Nothing unusual. But buried within that massive mountain of coins are some of the most sought-after varieties and rare errors ever discovered. And this is where it gets really interesting. In total, 7 distinct varieties of the 1982 penny exist. 1. 1982 large date copper 2. 1982 small date copper 3. 1982 large date zinc 4. 1982 small date zinc 5. 1982D large date copper 6. 1982D small date zinc 7. 1982D large date zinc. But here's the twist. For decades, it was believed that no 1982D small date penny was struck on a copper planchet. That combination simply wasn't supposed to exist. Until one day, it was discovered. Yes, A coin collector weighed what appeared to be a standard 1982D small date penny, and the scale told a different story. Instead of the lighter zinc weight, it came in at 3.11 grams, copper. And just like that, the numismatic world was turned upside down. This coin, not supposed to exist, had somehow slipped through the cracks. A Denver minted small date penny struck on a copper planchet. Only a tiny handful have ever been found. They are true minting mistakes, born from a transition year full of confusion and overlapping production. Now let's take a closer look at what makes any 1982 penny valuable beyond its metal. Aside from weight and date variety, collectors also hunt for error coins, those rare factory mistakes that make a coin 1 in a million. Some examples include double die obverse, DDO, where the text, like Liberty, or In God We Trust, appears double dot off-center strikes, where the coin is not aligned properly, leading to a dramatically shifted design. Clipped planchets, where a part of the coin is cut off or looks like it's been bitten. Die cracks, cuds, and BI errors, signs that the minting equipment had small flaws, leaving raised lines or blobs on the surface of the coin. And then there's the incredible discovery of transitional errors, like coins struck with the wrong metal. For example, a 1982D small date copper penny is technically a transitional error, and it's one of the rarest Lincoln cents ever found. But as with all rare coins, the final factor that determines value is condition. A coin with a rare variety or error is always interesting, but when it's in mint state, untouched, and sharply struck, that's when it becomes a collector's dream. Coins graded MS65 and above by professional services like PCGS or NGC are the ones that bring in the big bucks. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping moment that shook the auction floor. A well-known coin dealer brought forward one of the 1982D small date copper pennies, certified and graded in stunning condition. It had the right weight, the correct metal, and all the details lined up to prove it was not supposed to exist. And yet, here it was. Bidding started slow, then took off like wildfire. Collectors from across the world joined in, desperate to claim a piece of American minting history. And when the final hammer dropped, the price was absolutely breathtaking. That single penny, struck in 1982, unnoticed for years, saved by a sharp-eyed collector, sold for a total of $60,000. Yes, you heard that right. $60,000. For a 1-cent coin that most people never even think twice about. So what's the takeaway? 1982 wasn't just another year for the Lincoln penny. It was a turning point. A crossroads between old and new, copper and zinc, standard and exceptional. It was a year of changes, confusion, and hidden treasures. And that treasure could still be out there. Maybe in your desk drawer. Maybe in a box of old coins from your grandfather. Maybe in your pocket right now. So what should you do? Get a digital scale. Start weighing your 1982 pennies. Learn to spot the large and small date differences. Look for off-center designs, unusual coloring, or doubling in the text. Because the next rare 1982 penny worth $60,000 might be the one you're holding, and you just haven't realized it yet. If you found this video helpful or exciting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another chance to uncover history hiding in plain sight.